Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the MIM panel webinar today. We are really excited to talk to you about the MIM program and introduce you to the professors who are here with us today and chat more with our alumni. You can also ask any questions from us. We are going to also record this webinar and send to everyone who registered and everyone who has provided interest in the program. So my name is Michaela Vikramasinghe. I'm the Recruitment and Training Officer at the Faculty of Graduate Studies. I will be moderating the webinar. And I am excited to introduce you to Dr. Mariam, who is the program chair. I can't see your last name, Mariam. I'm so sorry, I've already.
My last name is Memarzadeh, but don't worry about it. I always tell that it's quite difficult for so many people to pronounce my last name, but I'm Maryam.
Great. Would you like to introduce yourself briefly?
Of course, as you said, my name is Maryam. I'm chair of the program starting September 2024. I took over as chair of the program. I've been with the University of Winnipeg since 2017. And I've been with the MIM program from the very first days of the development and implementation. So, that is my passion practically. Moving forward, that is the area that I'm hoping to be more involved. And I've developed courses for the program, and I will continue being a part of the program.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mariam. I would like to introduce Dr. Lam Ann, who is also a professor of the program. Lam, would you like to provide a brief introduction?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I joined the program in 2021 and have been helping developing the data analytic focus of the program. Right now, I'm teaching the multivariate course. And yeah, very happy to introduce and talk more about this new focus of our program that align with the needs of the industry and see how it can meet your needs. Yeah, look forward to speaking more about it.
Great, thank you, Lam. I'm now going to introduce Tim Fast, who's an alumni, so I will go with the seniority. Tim, you have graduated a few years ago, earlier than Jason, I believe. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, my name is Tim Fass. I graduated from the master's program in 2021. Just a little bit about me. I am the Vice President of Sales for Barkman Concrete, which is a North America precast concrete manufacturer, and we distribute our products across North America. And my role is sit on the executive table and provide global strategy for the organization, and also in charge of all sales functions throughout the organization. Happy to be here and happy to hopefully answer lots of your questions.
Thank you, Tim. And Jason, would you like to introduce yourself as a recent graduate of the program?
Yeah, sure, of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Jason, and I'm very excited to be here. I graduated in August of last year from Master in Management program, specializing in data analytics. Currently, I'm working as a senior product analyst at a SaaS company. We are an analyze customer journeys, usage data, and conduct market research to drive the development of our SaaS platform. Very excited to share my journey and experience with all of you. Looking forward to our discussion.
Wonderful. I think our next item of the agenda is that the program chair will have a presentation to talk more about the program. So I am going to share my screen. Can everyone see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Mariam, would you like to
Sure. Thank you so much, Michaela. So, Master in Management program, as you can see on the slide, we have two streams of the program. So hopefully from the beginning, I should clarify that when I mention TIO, I'm referring to Technology, Innovation, and Operations stream. And when I am referring, or LAM is referring to DA, we are speaking of data analytics. These are the two streams that we have. Michaela, next slide, please. Thank you. So very quickly, an overview of how the program came into existence and why should you consider doing that. So when we were designing this program many, many years ago, even before I joined the program, we decided that we are going to do this in partnership with the industry. So we wanted to listen and understand the needs of our main audience. And from main audience, what I mean is the current managers in the global market, as well as our domestic managers within the province of Manitoba and in general, our Canadian market. So initially, we started by looking at all the emerging reports, statistics, stuff like that from the global surveys of executives. And one thing that we noticed is showing up in those type of surveys was continuously managers would raise their concerns about a need for having a better understanding on how to create processes, capabilities, and cultures specifically for having more innovative organizations. So in a world that is becoming more and more competitive, leaders and CEOs had noted that one area through which they can survive in this competition is innovation. So we took that initial seed, that became the initial seed of the program. We took that and we started to reach out to some of the most influential companies and organizations within Manitoba. Firms like Manitoba Hydro, City of Winnipeg, the MPI, Boeing. We asked them what they think about what kind of management program we should start to offer here, given the needs that they have, given the leadership requirements that they have for their personnel. How could we help them with developing their people for the challenges that they were facing? So as a result of that effort, believe it or not quite surprisingly though, I think, the two themes that emerged from the global surveys and from our partnership with domestic organizations here was exactly the same thing. People were looking specifically for having education, better education in innovation and technology. Now, because of that, we started the whole program. And that is when we, I think it was in 2016, the idea came in and we started the whole program in 2017. So when we started the program, we called it TIO, Technology, Innovation, and Operations. And fast forward very quickly, in 2021, we noticed that following the battle that organizations had because of the pandemic, there is a more need of using data-driven decision-making for making all sorts of decisions around new product development, marketing and sale, operations, supply chain. So that's when we added a new stream of data analytics. So as you can see with this background, the whole idea of this program started with the ambitious, forward-thinking professionals in mind. So in other words, we wanted to provide a solid management education for organizations that specifically needed certain education that is different from whatever that MBA programs are currently providing. That's when we thought that our program would make a significant impact in the market. So the courses that we developed them by considering the fact that these are leaders that need innovation and technology management education. How can we train these leaders to achieve that? So for doing this, we created all sorts of partnership with the industry. We work with so many of our partners, Vavanessa, Wimpac, MacDon, Serial Canada, Boeing, and we take our students to all sorts of tours and everything to help them to gain practical understanding of what is happening in the industry. So Like personally, when I talk about lean principles, for example, in my classes, students have an understanding of it from a theory perspective. But when I take them to a tour in a company like Winpack, and they can see exactly how standardization is helping with error proofing in their systems. That's when everything sinks in. So all entire education in this program has been designed around practical application of everything. And again, as I said before, our purpose is to ensure that people who are joining the program are coming from a variety of industries with variety of experiences, and they have enough managerial experience to share with each other and with us, and their understanding in the areas of innovation, technology, and operations. And they excel in through that conversations that they have in their peers as well as with us, and they can become more knowledgeable in each of these fields. So again, our purpose was just to design a program that is practice oriented and specifically designed for people who want to become leaders that are capable of tackling the specific challenges that market requires today. With that in mind, so I can actually summarize why you should consider a master in management in the University of Winnipeg with these items that I have listed here. We help you to develop not only managerial skills, but also that leadership nuances that is coming through practical application of management education. We do that through all sorts of strategies that we have. As I said, we have all sorts of business tours. Our education is all around using case studies, teamworks, peer sharing, and all of that provides you with an opportunity to prepare for your roles as leaders and practice management within our education. Our program is designed to hone leadership skills in specific areas and industries and disciplines, particularly the areas that require innovation, technology, and data-driven decisions. Our program helps you to capture insights from a broader sections of business leaders. Why? Because we try to make our program as inclusive as possible by allowing our cohorts come from variety of fields. So in the past, I'm not sure if Tim remembers this, but we had a very interesting cohort in Tim's class. Like we had people from variety of industries. We had entrepreneurs. We had managers, top managers from companies such as Boeing. Tim himself was from the vice president of sale and marketing with Barkman. We had people who were actually running their own businesses, huge businesses in their home countries, and they were here to gain some of that knowledge and transfer it back to their home countries. So we provide that level of really diversity that a program needs in order to grow in terms of innovation. That level of interaction that exists between our students and our faculty members, that provides that needed ground for growth and innovation in the program and in general as leaders. Now, with all that said, I also wanted to quickly make a comparison here between our MIM program and MBA programs. And the reason for it is that I know that many people are joining this webinar and they are wondering, why should I do, instead of an MBA, an MIM? And my answer to that question is that our program is not only very diverse, and it has amazing flexibility built into that, which both me and Lam will describe in the next few slides. But more importantly, it is helping you with remaining very relevant to the current market. So an MBA program is a very, I would call it broad program in every aspects of every disciplines of management, like organization behavior, information system, operations management, accounting, and so on. Our specific focus on innovation, technology, and operations make our program very suitable for individuals who dream of being leaders in this specific areas, given the fact that future competition is becoming very dependent on innovation and technology. So that is an area that people should consider when they are thinking about our program. And also, aside from the fact that it is very relevant and flexible, they should consider that this program is designed with affordability in mind for many different reasons, specifically because we wanted to serve the domestic market of Manitoba. Michaela, would you please move on to the next slide? Thank you. I will pass it to Lam. Lam, go ahead, please.
Hello. Yes. As Mariam has mentioned already, and I can't emphasize enough that our program is designed first and foremost emphasize on industry interactions and practical applications, right? So we try to offer the most flexible, practical, and affordable options for management educations. So we have two focus. One, as Mariam also mentioned, is on technology, innovation, operation management, which has 10 courses. 4 to 6 are online and asynchronous, and 4 to 6 are face-to-face, which 4 are condensed in a 2-week schedule, August each year. So this schedule is designed to accommodate, working professionals, people who have, other focuses, have a full-time job commitment, and still want to increase their skill and career path. On the data analytics side, which focus more on technology and data strategies, we also have 10 courses, which you take 4 additional courses, which focus on data, that is separate from the TIO program. And those 4 data course 8 are face-to-face on campus, because that's the nature of data analysis. Data educations is a lot required to be in person, interaction with the software. It also we also include in our 1-year program a lot of campus tour, a lot of networking event. Just 2 days ago, we have a event that meet former students in the field, try to introduce the program to new students on campus. So that's something that I also believe that distinguishes our program to other online programs you can register anywhere in the world, is that we do have that component of in-person interactions that really open the doors to future career opportunities, right? You can learn these skills, many of similar data skills in many courses online, but the interactions, the individual attention to each student career path is hard to duplicate in an online model. And the program is taught by mostly experienced professors who actually are applying these things that they are teaching in the research and business on the day-to-day teaching and research, right? So, for example, Dr. Farzad Zepur, one of the professors in the data analytics program, was recently receiving some federal grant on applying AI and machine learning to optimize wait time in healthcare operations, right? So, and myself, a lot of the research I'm doing is data analysis, analyzing sustainability operation, working with provincial partners in Efficiency Manitoba, for example, or Prairie Climate Center, to try to improve sustainability consumer behavior and understand that more in depth. A lot of our effort, not only to do research, but also to build more partnerships. Last year, I believe, when we went on the industry tour, we went to at least 8 companies with different focus on agriculture, on sport and entertainment, on sustainable papers, for example, botanical paperworks, which actually have seeded paper that you can grow and recycle. So a variety of opportunities, and we will continue to work to get more open models for you. And certainly, last but not least, one of the highest concern of a lot of students is the price. We are priced very competitively um, compared to similar programs in other provinces. And if you can look at the cost of living as well, one thing that is usually not mentioned, Winnipeg, Manitoba is actually one of the most affordable place to live. And if you decide to come here, I would love to talk to you more about how dynamic and engaging and up and coming the city has become. So yeah, I will leave it at that. And let me know if you have any questions specifically on the structure of the program and the opportunities that this is providing. So Michaela, can you go to the next slide for Mariam? Yeah.
Thank you, Michaela. So I just wanted to quickly to give you an overview of how the program structure looks like currently. So we start with 2 weeks of intensive coursework. The courses that we cover here are leadership and organizational behavior. It's taught by one of our veterans who has been the founder of the program, Dr. Sylvia Albert, with over 30 years of experience in the industry, amazing professor. The other course that we have is Introduction to TIO. That's another course taught by Professor Kemal Fantasi. Himself is a graduate of Carleton Business School, and he has extensive research and work experience that he brings into his classes. We designed the program intentionally that way for having that 2 weeks intensive coursework at the beginning because we wanted to shorten the length of the program. And we understand that from I told you before, we teamed up with a variety of organizations here in Manitoba to understand what they need. And one of the things that we heard among the emerging themes was flexibility. So we wanted to make a program that is highly flexible for our audience who happen to be oftentimes high-level managers in organizations. So you can see in the guests that we have here, our guest list that we have here, Tim and Jason, both of them are they were already working when they joined the program. So we wanted to make sure that we not only remain relevant in terms of tapping to a market in which the education in management is not that comprehensive. So innovation and technology was that specific area. But we also wanted to make sure that we remain as flexible as possible. So by designing the program with 2 courses, intensive courses at the beginning, as well as 2 courses, quite intensive at the end, we achieve that purpose. Now, in the middle, we have, depending on whether you want to do your studies part-time or full-time, you can do 6 courses in 1 year or 2 years. That is up to you. If you are doing it in 1 year, then you are taking 2 courses per semester, 2 in fall, 2 in winter, and 2 early summer. And then you finish the program with 2 intensive bootcamp courses at the end. If you decide on doing it part-time, then you can do, again, 2 in the beginning in August, 1 fall, 1 winter, 1 spring, then the year after the same schedule all the way to the end, and you finish with the 2 bootcamp courses. So again, the program has been structured for flexibility, and we hope that that flexibility worked for managers that we had in the past. And I'm sure that Jason and Tim can discuss that in their opinion, how that worked for them. Now, I'm passing on to Lam to walk you through how we structured the DA program. Michaela, please next slide. Thank you.
Yes, so the DA program actually have some overlapping with the TIO program structures. And one of the reasons why we build such a cohort culture is because these will be your partners, your friends. You want to build this environment where you can network as well. Is as important as any materials you learn in the course is the friends, the future executives, future managers that you make in the program as well. So similar, very similar to the TIL 2-week condensed model in August. Then you have 2 online course deliver. And then when you have the 4 data analytics courses, is the difference between the DA and the TIL program. You first take a course in descriptive analytics, where you learn data visualizations, a lot of how to describe, understand the structure of the data cleaning, and then you move on to advanced prescriptive analytics, advanced predictive analytics to learn how to do forecasting, optimizations, and then multivariate data analysis to try to understand the variables, relationship between different variables in the data set, how to navigate the complex data environment in the corporations. So I'm teaching the multivariate data analysis, and Dr. Farzad Zepur, which I just mentioned earlier, is teaching the descriptive analytics and the advanced prescriptive analytics. And Dr. Sunday Taiwo, who's also an expert in operation management in healthcare sectors, is teaching the advanced predictive analytics. And in the last 2 weeks of the condensed course, you take a class in current trends in technologies, innovation and operation management. And then you have graduate projects where you bring all the skills that you learn throughout the entire program to put in the practical applications ways and present your final project. So the program is short and condensed and flexible, but it makes sure that it's also comprehensive and cover everything that is required to succeed in the current environment. So yeah. And regarding admission, so by this point, if we get your attention and you're thinking about applying to our program, several admission criteria that we have. First of all, before you look at all these bullet points, we have to highlight and emphasize that our admission criteria is fairly flexible. So we have a very hardworking committee working every year to navigate through hundreds of applications that we receive to evaluate your profile case by case. So these are the guidelines, but we also look at each of your application in depth to evaluate whether you are a suitable candidate for the program. We want to make sure that the program is of high quality, because when we have high quality participants in the program, it improves the quality of the education for everyone involved, including the professors, your classmates, and so on. So the general admission criteria is that you should have a 4-year Bachelor of Business, honors or commerce degree, something in business background, or you have a 3-year Bachelor of Business degrees or any relevant program with other background with engineering, for example, heavy quantitative or other experience, but with significant, extensive professional experience supplementary to that. So these evaluations are made by the committees, and interview might be necessary sometimes when we talk to you and to understand what you want to achieve, how can our program help you to achieve this, and whether it's a suitable fit between the program and the students. We welcome a range of academic and professional backgrounds that Maria mentioned earlier. We usually have a very diverse pool of students and participants in the program, including entrepreneur, including existing management, including other people in a management role in different organizations who want to advance a career. So we welcome a range of academics and professional backgrounds. For the data analytics extreme, especially because of the nature of the quantitative nature of the focus, the degree experience, you look at your transcript, looking at existing class, past performance in economics, in statistics, finance, mathematics, engineering, to make sure that you have at least a suitable fundamentals, foundations to succeed and excel in the program. Working experience is very important in our program. The preferred is 5 years, but minimum of 2-year experience, because in the class, and especially in the TIL program in the beginning foundational course, there's a lot of case studies and discussions of how what we learn in class can be applied to practical roles. and sharing your own experience, sharing your own industry experience, your own management experience, management issues, enrich the discussion in the class as a whole. So working experience is quite important. And yeah, the deadline to apply is February 1st with the completed applications from our grad study office, as you can see in the link here. And for sure on the website, we have the link to our application as well. So make sure you shoot your application as soon as possible if you're interested. And we look forward to seeing your profile, your applications, and maybe talk to you soon in an interviews for the program.
Okay, I just wanted to quickly end our presentation so that we can move on to the more important part of this conversation with Tim and Jason with a few quotes from our previous graduates of this program. A great manager that we had from PwC, who I just heard got admitted to a PhD program quite recently, has told us that as a profound graduate of this program, I can testify that it was well worth my time and effort. It makes me so happy to hear a statement like this, because the person that I'm talking about is a highly well-rounded in terms of her knowledge and understanding in management area. So when she's talking about her time is used properly, that makes me feel that we have added value to her. Hopefully the fact that she PhD program is an attestation for that currently. Now, the next person that I want to share his view is a great friend of mine right now that he has graduated after he was in our first cohort. He's joining my class for a guest lecture talk in 2 weeks, sorry. And that's what he said about the program. It taught me things that I didn't know, and it confirmed some things I learned during my own career. It also showed me, by comparison, things I was doing that weren't correct and how to correct them. Again, a very encouraging statement that I can hear from a former student about how our education has impacted their lives, their professional journey in a positive way. And finally, I had a quote from one of our fantastic, again, first cohort graduate students who shared her opinion. I've actually moved into a higher level role with the company. I attribute that success directly to the confidence and perspective I gained through this program. Again, these are some of the opinions that we have received over years, and there are so many more of them. I keep hearing the same positive message from our graduate and alumni. And I hope that Jason and Tim would confirm the same thing. Okay, thank you, everyone. I leave it back to you, Michaela.
Thank you, Mariam, and thank you, Lam, for that great presentation. It was a lot of great information about how the program runs through the 1 or 2 year and the purpose. You covered it so well, so thanks again. I do have some questions, but I have responded to the Q&A panel that we will address that at the end. I do want to give the opportunity for Tim and Jason, as they are spending this hour with us out of their work schedule. So my first question for you, board, that maybe I will start with Jason. What was your overall experience in the MIM program?
Yeah. So honestly, when I look back at the whole program, I first saw this, well, time flies. It's hard to believe that it's already been some time since I graduated. It feels like I was just at orientation dinner or like working late into the night to work on a project. Overall, I had to say the experience was really, really great. So one thing that stood out to me was how supportive the faculty, the professors are there for the students. From day one, I felt like I didn't have to worry about anything other than focusing on my own studies. And the industry tour, just like what Dr. Mariam mentioned, and those networking events organized by the MIM office, so were also very amazing. So they gave me the exposure to real world application of what we are learning and opportunities to connect with professionals. So I believe not every program offers this level of engagement outside of a classroom. And academically, the program actually delivers exactly what I was looking for. It combines the business knowledge with technical expertise in a way that was both practical and engaging. The professors were always approachable, providing clear guidance for instance, one of the challenging moments I faced was during the predictive analytics course, where we had to build and fine-tune a machine learning method. But at that time, I faced challenges because coding was new to me, but it wasn't easy. But with the professor's explanations and the support of my peers, I was able to overcome the difficulties and finally improve my skills and achieve the project with like a good score. And looking back, so it was well-rounded experience. I gained not only technical skills, but also a lot of confidence and professional connections that continue to benefit me today.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Jason. Tim, may I ask you the same question about your overall experience?
Yeah, absolutely. If I could probably define it in one word, it would be rewarding. It was really, really rewarding. To be really transparent, it's a lot of work. It certainly stretched my comfort level, and it made me think outside of what my typical viewpoint would be. But in the end, it made me a better strategist. It made me a better leader, and certainly a better executive. The one thing I really like what Miriam said is that like I found the theoretical approaches to innovation and technology easily transferable to practical applications when you're solving real business problems. That is something I definitely garnered and gained through the education. And similar to what both Lam and Miriam stated, the cohort is your lifeline. I was really blessed with the multifaceted disciplines that people would come into the program with. As Miriam had said, in our cohort, we had, psychology degrees, we had law degrees, we had engineering degrees, we had business degrees. And it was really cool to see how we would solve business problems using different lenses. And that's something that I have taken with me now when I have to solve complex business problems. And secondly, just lastly, too, I would just say is that the cohort just have amazing people. We have lifelong friends, as Jason had stated, they're connections for a lifetime. And it was a really incredible experience.
Thank you, Tim. I am going to ask you another question. You did mention that how busy you were during the program. Could you describe a typical day or a week or a month in the program?
Certainly. I like to be very transparent and honest. The first and last 2 weeks are really hectic and rather stressful. So I'm just going to put that out there right now. But saying that, though, I appreciated that fast-paced environment from those weeks because the rest of the classes, although a heavy workload, it felt manageable. I really have to state that. I kind of use the example, functional chaos is the best way to describe it. So probably like many who are on the call or listening to this webinar, you may work full time. Myself, I did. I have a family. I have priorities that extend beyond just the master's degree. So although it was hectic, it was manageable in the way that I would go about my routine. So similar to what Jason had described, or sometimes you do have to do some late nights. Sometimes you have to work and do things on a Saturday. But the one thing I found is it wasn't all consuming, if that's a good way to put it. There's still a decent amount of time that you can spend doing life that isn't your master's degree. And that's what I found was really great. So certainly a lot of hard work, but manageable.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Jason, you did mention about the support that you received from the program, especially you were going through that course, that you had a little bit of lack of experience with coding. I know both of you, the alumni, was already working in your own fields. Could you explain a little bit, Jason, how did the program help you with your to change your career or to get ahead of career at that point?
Yeah, absolutely. Before joining the MM program, I actually had several years of experience working as a product management role in the software industry. So that's why I work in the software industry, but I don't know anything about coding. I enjoy the work and have the desire to progress further. In today's SaaS industry, as a product manager, you need to understand the user journey and use a large amount of data to make decisions, such as determining the product pricings or like determining a timeline to release a specific feature for customers. Uh, but I started to notice a gap here. So while I have solid experience in managing products and even like people management in my role, I didn't have a formal management degree, and I didn't have a solid knowledge regarding data analytics. So that's why I came across the MiM program, and I feel like it was exactly what I needed to bridge the gap between the management and technology. So program itself is designed to enhance management skills and technology skills like data analytics. It's structured uh, in a way that it just doesn't focus on one side of the equation. So for example, the course on innovation and operation really helped me understand how business function at a strategic level. I gain insights on how companies approach problems like improving efficiency, managing resources, or fostering innovation, which gave me a clear view of the big picture of an organization. And on the other hand, the data courses uh, are also very impactful. For instance, the descriptive analytics. We worked on cleaning and analyzing messy data sets. That skills directly apply to what I do now. So making data-driven decisions and creating strategic approaches that actually work in a real world scenario. Um, so I think the program did more than just to help me like advance my career goals. It gave me the tools and confidence to elevate my role in my organization. So I can now contribute at both a technical perspective as well as a strategic perspective.
That's wonderful. Thank you for that, sharing that with us, Jason. So my other question is a little bit similar to that. To Tim, I believe you were in the same organization before you start the program, or am I?
Correct. Yep.
And you did talk about how the rewarding was the word you mentioned that you associate with the program. How did the program help you to bring back certain tools back to your organization to, you help out the organization grow?
Oh, good question. I love that. I would say if you even if you just look at some of those quotes that Miriam had read, the one word that keeps on coming out is confidence. That is something that is apparent in every single caseload you do, workload you do, whatever case study you're dealing with, is that confidence. So it made me just a better executive on being able to make confident business decisions against really hard business problems and feeling completely comfortable with any of those consequences that derives from those decisions that we made. This sounds arrogant, but I certainly didn't feel like I was no longer just punching above my weight. I belonged at that table now. And, that was really just because of all the coursework and stuff that I attained through the 2 years when I did it. I just felt comfortable looking at the different business problems that we were focusing on and just being able to attack them. And again, I'll keep on using this word and doing it with confidence and knowing that whatever consequences they're positive or negative, I was going to own them, and I felt good in the decisions that I made. Hopefully that helps answer that question.
Yeah, I know that's amazing. Thank you for that again. I feel like I had a list of questions, but you already answered most of those questions with just a few. I'm gonna just put another question for both of you because we have some prospective students in the webinar, and it will be sent to some of them too. What would be the advice for anyone who's starting the program in the next term, a preparation advice, what to look for, or anything that you wanted to share? Maybe I'll start with Jason.
Yeah, sure. So talking about advice, I think my advice would be very brief. So if you are considering this program, just go for it, but dive in deeply. Uh, Dive in deeply and dive in fully. So don't just attend the classes, engage with everything the program offers, like what we mentioned, the networking and the different backgrounds from the cohort. Ask questions, connect with professors, and take advantage of the networking events and career fairs. Be proactive, use what you learn in real time. So whether it's applying the data tools at work or bringing the strategic framework into your projects. And lastly, I look forward to seeing all of you in University of Winnipeg MIM program.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jason. Tim?
Yeah, that's great, Jason. I would actually share a lot of that sentiment. I would say first, anyone who's considering it is just do it. Personally, in my humble opinion, it was worth whatever financial burden that came with it, and it was worth the time to educate yourself and put yourself as a front runner. I was in my car the other day and listened to a podcast, and I found that what was the statistic? I think it was like just over 8% of Canadians have a master's degree, and the other G7s is only around 12. If you're looking for job market with practical knowledge, it is well worth your effort to go and rival above the others who choose not to. The second thing I would say is whoever is interested or is coming in is just have a good support system around you outside of school. Jason mentioned certainly the professors and the cohorts 100%. I found that, again, in my situation, working full-time with the family, I had to lean really heavily on my support systems, just to bring the kid to hockey sometimes, bring the kid to dance. That was really important, but just educating them and letting them know of kind of what the expectation was going through. It was worth it, and just to walk through that with them together, because it's just a better experience when everyone understands what the sacrifice you're making now is going to accomplish long term. And lastly, and I think Jason, you were bang on with this, is get to know your cohort closely. They are going to be your lifeline. They're going to help carry you, and at times you're going to help carry them. You're in this together, and it's the same strategy that they're using. They want to do the same thing, so it's really cool as a collective whole to go and garner the strengths of everybody and get that degree. And I know just what we ended up doing, and we learned this from the first cohort who had entered it. We just started off with a WhatsApp group and had all the cohort in there, and we had subgroups from those WhatsApp groups just to continue to talk and engage. And then with Jason as well, I love what you said. It's just with professors, get to know your professors, learn from them. What I found so amazing was often you can get answers in real time. Mariam, I remember texting you sometimes, asking questions live as I was working through a business problem. And it's just something you won't get, in my opinion, from any other course or degree program out there. So I would certainly suggest doing it.
Wonderful. What great insights into that community you're building through the program. So thank you for both of you. I would like to pose the same question to the two professors. As you have seen many students graduating and you're supporting every day these students, what would be any advice that you want to give to a prospective students coming in the next term?
Excellent question. Thank you so much, Michaela. I totally agree with what Jason and Tim mentioned. Just to add to that, and do not reiterate everything that they said, I believe the extent of benefit that you get out of our program is up to you. So the program was designed with the intention of serving you. In every aspect of its design, we try to embed relevancy, flexibility, affordability, and connection. Now, it is up to you to jump in and immerse in the program. So the courses that are online, they sometimes, unfortunately, give the wrong impression to people that just this is an online course. I will do it immediately. I will graduate quickly and all done. But yeah, you can do that probably. You can graduate from the program, but the amount of benefit that you will get from it depends on how immersive your experiences in the program and how well you integrate within the network of the university and external network that we have with our partners. So you will need that network. You will need your cohorts, just the way that Jason and Tim mentioned. You need their support. One day they will stand for you, the other day you will stand for them. So be there for each other and try to build that network through us, because we are the facilitator of that, and take the benefits of the program. You can get a lot of benefits from the program, but again, it is up to you to what extent you get involved and achieve that. I'll pass it on to Lam.
Wow, it's tough to be the last one to offer advice because everything has been mentioned already. But similar to what everyone else have said, I mean, the program is a framework that we develop, but don't treat it as another degree. It's no longer like your undergrad degree or high school where you just come to class, complete assignments, and go home, right? You get the most out of it by how much you invest in it. And one thing on top of everything everyone have shared is that to maintain lifelong connections. So a lot of these things, a lot of the connection you make on the program, I mean, after graduation, we remain friends and with our students, with other professors, and it opened up a lot of doors on market opportunities and presentations and networking. The university has a lot of unique opportunities and connection within the community that can help you open a lot of career doors. Instead, connections to government agencies, connections to we are located in downtown Winnipeg as well, right? So very strategically placed within all the organizations. We have True North, which is, for those of you who are attending who are not familiar, is one of the biggest real estate and sport entertainment in central of Canada. Then we have Skip, which is also just 100 meters from us, one of the biggest food delivery company in the entire countries, and other banks and organizations. So take advantage of the environment, immerse in it, and it's a 1-year program, like Jason mentions as well. It's fly by. You think you join the program, it's a long program, but in 1 year, usually what I hear from the students that they wish they have done more. So from day one, put your energy in it, and excel through it, fly through it. Yeah, that's my advice.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. And thanks, Lan, for wrapping up those insights greatly. I am going to go to the questions. There were a few that I could not answer. This is a little bit of a technical question in terms of applications. Someone's asking that I have a master's degree in agronomy and bachelor's degree in crop science, and that whether it would be applicable, eligible to apply.
In ergonomy, well, I will need to see the list of the courses that they have taken before I can make a comment on that, because before I see those courses, I have a rough idea about how an ergonomy program would look like. Crop management is something that we had before students from this specific field. Currently, I have a student from agriculture industry with lots of experience in quality management. So that might be a relevant area, but again, I can't make any comments unless I see the list of the courses. So one thing that I would suggest that they could do before they apply, because I understand that they don't want to make the payment and then they realize that the program was not for them, they could send us a list of their courses to that MIM email address, and we will take a look at that and respond to them whether or not that's an application that is aligned with our program.
Great. Thank you, Mariam. There's another question. Can someone with an MBA already apply to the MIM?
We actually had a couple of individuals in the past coming from our international students, actually, where with MBA degree or other master's degree. Actually, we quite recently had a case of Chinese students with masters in project management. So we have tons of amazing individuals with amazing backgrounds in management field joining us every year. It's not a problem. What we are looking for, though, more than anything, is that work experience. So without that, education actually comes secondary in reality, because that education background, well, it can provide you with a solid understanding of management field, but practicing it in person is a whole different thing. And that's what we need for our classes, for enrichment of learning for everyone. So if you have noticed, I mentioned this, and guys mentioned that a couple of times here, Jason and Tim, that people cherish this program not only because the education that they receive from their professors, but that peer support that they get from their other cohorts, because they share their knowledge with each other, and that spillover of knowledge from one field to another is the key for innovation. That's what we know for sure. So we want to bring in people who are not only highly educated, that's excellent, but more importantly, quite experienced. That's the part that we emphasize on.
Great, thank you, Mariam. Another question, I tried to answer this, but I believe I didn't do it properly. So the question is if this program fall under STEM and BHASE, BHASE category based on Canadian CIP.
Okay, if I understand the question correctly, if I want to summarize it, whether this is an engineering oriented, science engineering oriented program, or more of humanity and business oriented, my answer would be that it's a mix of both of them. When it comes to TIO, we are more of business management stream. DA definitely is more engineering oriented, because at the end of the day, you need skills related to coding and some of the softwares that are relevant to data analytics, such as Python. You need that kind of background, and you will be trained even further there. But for TIO, we are not getting involved into too much of details of technology. We are more concerned about how to manage our technology, how to manage our innovation processes, rather than the technicalities of technologies and how to run them.
Great, thank you. There was a question about the references. So when the person's asking, when they are submitting the references, their professors or their former managers can send it from their personal email, like a Gmail, for the reasons that maybe the professors are retired from their jobs, or that their companies are would not allow the external emails from the company emails.
Well, our references are not coming at a priority of our list when we are ranking our applications. It's a fact. Again, as I said before, experience is everything for us. We are looking for highly experienced individuals, especially with management positions, because this is a management program, right? So I would say we could go over all those references. It is not mandatory per se to provide something that is coming from a university, especially for someone that has been away from a university setting for such a long time. If you have graduated 10, 15 years ago and you have been with industry, it is hard for you to get an academic reference, and we do understand that. So for us, again, the priority comes with the level of work experience that you have, then your education. The relevancy of your work experience is so important. Again, having a management background is the key here for our ranking. And then finally, one of the areas that we would look at would be your references. But again, we were hoping to get references that are more solid. I mean, that we could verify their legitimacy, basically. So if we could get them, that would be definitely much better. But if you are not making that happen, then there's not much choice, right?
Great, thank you. I hope that answered the question. The another question about my undergrads is below 3-point GPA. but I have 10 plus years of leadership and entrepreneurial experience, along with certification like PMP, PMI, ACP, ITIL, etc. Do you consider applicants holistically based on professional experience and credentials?
That's very true. Yeah, that's exactly what we do. We, instead of focusing on one area, just so like it's not an undergrad program. We are not looking at your grades one by one and go, oh, it's too many of A's, excellent, let's go for it. No, we look at you and your work experience, your background as a package. So again, work experience of 10 plus years is fantastic. We would definitely consider that as a good applicant. But again, you should just make sure that your work experience is relevant. As you mentioned, it is probably in leadership area, so that's excellent. Said that, your specific industry is also important here, right? So if you are, let's say, in the business of, for instance, counseling, family counseling, that wouldn't make that much sense to this specific industrial setting in which we are talking about innovation, technology, and operations, right? So that alignment between your business and what the program has to offer is also very important. So please consider that before applying.
Thank you, Mariam. There's a question whether they can apply with a BA in sociology degree.
Again, depends on their experience then. Sociology wouldn't be necessarily an amazing fit for a business program. Having said that, we should see what their work experience is. They could be an excellent leader in the executive level with an organization, which is perfectly aligned with our program. But unless we see the whole CV, we cannot exactly pinpoint whether or not this is a good applicant for us. Just by degree, I can't mention that, actually.
I think that is probably the answer for the next two questions, as they have outlined their education. There's one question about someone's having a BSc in mathematics in first degree, but 13 years experience in pharma, in sales. And then another candidate with MPhil in meat science and BSc agriculture. I think you did answer for the credential questions already, unless you want to add something. I'm seeing.
Not really. I think that's the core of our decision making in when it comes to ranking of the applications. We go with the whole package instead of focusing on, for instance, your reference list. We go with how experienced you are, how relevant your experience is to the field and to the courses that we are offering. If we see that you are not quite, for instance, you have applied for TIO, but we see that you have a good, strong data analytics background and you perhaps don't see it yourself, we would direct you for that. We would set up an interview with you and we will ask you to consider that. So there are always like when you apply, nothing is solid at that moment. You can expect to hear from us. We will come back with suggestions to you. We might require to get a sense of how you think about business problems before we can direct you in that specific direction in terms of TIO versus DA. But again, these are all things that happen after we receive your package and we start assessing that.
Wonderful, thank you. There is a question about the application fee waiver, and from the Graduate Studies Office, I can tell you that we do not have the application waivers at the moment. And there is one last question I will address because we are a little bit over time right now. Is someone asking about the assistantship and funding for international students?
So,
Go
Michaela,
ahead, Mariam. I think maybe your internet is unstable. You were frozen a little bit, but it looks like you're back.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. So we have certain fundings you definitely need to show, first of all, to the when you are applying for visa, there is a certain requirement in terms of how much you should already have in your bank account before you can get a visa. So that is a given, and we can't do any help with that.
I think it's a very windy day in Winnipeg. It's a snow day, so there are some internet troubles, and I see.
Don't scare the candidates away. It's a warm, sunny, shiny days in Winnipeg.
It is
Yeah,
warm.
so regarding that fundings, yeah, nothing is guaranteed, but our professors are very research intensive, and we do hire research assistant from time to time, but it's not tied to the graduate program, and nothing is directly considered as funding for the graduate program. But there might be opportunities from time to time, but I don't think we don't want to set any expectation in terms of support, financial support. Keep in mind that we already design our program to be affordable in terms of financial commitments and cost of living compared to a lot of other programs. I mean, you don't have to take my words for it. Just go search for other programs in Canada. You'll see that you won't find better affordability and value anywhere.
Thank you, Lam. The question is, when do you take the final decision? I know the deadline is the February 1st for the applications, and then usually the acceptance letters for all our graduate programs are going in March and April. I want to know if, do you want to add anything, Mariam?
Well, honestly, we don't have that solid date for our domestic students because the applications all the time are coming. So we get those type of application, and we do consider them when we are assessing them. As for the international students, given the fact that they are having visa issues and they should apply for visa, we try to accelerate that process as much as possible. So as we get applications, we go through them, and we have already actually started sending out our offers. So it's an ongoing process.
Wonderful. I think that's the end of our questions. And I do want to thank you again to Mariam, Lam, Tim, and Hengyu, and for your insightful information and advice to our students. And thank you for answering all those great questions as well. We're going to be ending the webinar here. It's 1:07, so a little bit over 1 hour. And we'll send all the registrants and attendees the recording of the webinar. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.